Wow, how time flies. So about 5 years ago, I created a video on here that showed how to use a built-in Zoho function to create a project in Zoho Projects when a deal is marked closed won. So it uses a workflow with that function that you can grab out of their so-called gallery. And so I'll briefly show you on this, but there's a banner that'll pop up or has already popped up showing you that video. You can watch that to see how to do it that way. So what happened in that video, it was the function that Zoho provides. It does create a project, and you can associate a different project template to it. It does do that, but it didn't backlink it to the actual deal. So you can see here there's no projects referenced. So that video showed how to create the project and not only do that, but then backlink it to the deal. So it'll show up and associate with the deal itself. So in this one, we're going to do that same thing, creating the project and backlinking it, but we're going to also bring in something that was brought up in a comment. So someone brought up a comment, which is a great comment. Okay, what if I have different project templates and I have different deal types and I want to associate when I close a particular deal with that type that it selects which template to choose from? And so I thought I'd do this video to answer their question, but also help other people too, because I think that's a valid question, because you would want it to do that. So what we're going to do in this one is we are going to use this field here. This is a demo account that we have on our complete end-to-end build your own complete business system in Zoho 1 course. That'll be linked in the first comment that's pinned below. You can check out that course. It'll give you a complete end-to-end system showing you everything you would need, most of the apps that you would use out of the box, and then just some simple setup for that. So you can build absolute empowerment and awareness of how to build Zoho for yourself. So in this one, this is the demo account, and we covered this field in that course. But what this is kind of like this type field, but this is just standard in Zoho, existing business and new business, which are good metrics. You want to see how much new business you have and how much existing business that you're growing. But we created this field as just a pick list, shows commercial and residential, because this demo account is putting up security cameras. And so we're going to use that field. And then also, if you watch that other video, which is the one about how to create the projects, is we had a start date and an end date that were added to the layout. You don't need them, but if your project template does have reference to, the day the project is created with this template, how many days go by for the first task, and how many days for the second task, how many days, etc. Because you can say, when does this start? It's that day plus whatever. So you'll need these dates in that. Okay, so the original function that went through the workflow is, here's the workflow, is this will be executed when a stage is marked closed won, and you have instant actions. So that other video showed how to grab a function out of the gallery. So if you click on gallery, you'll see create projects while winning proposals. You click on that, it gives you some details. You configure it, and then it has all these, quote, arguments that you would pass into the function. So the project name, you would do a pound sign or hashtag to pull up this little nugget here. You do deals, then you go, okay, deal name. We're going to do the same thing, but we're actually going to do it through Deluge. So we're going to kind of empower you a bit with knowledge on how to do Deluge. We're not going to do it this way. Instead, what we're going to do is simply take the deal ID and pass that into the function. Then we're going to pull out what we need that would be in the deal. And so we've already created it. Now we're just going to walk through it. Okay, so instant actions, we're going to look at the function. You would start with writing your own. Now in the description below, you're going to have the actual, you can just copy, it's done for you. You can just copy and paste what we've already provided. But when you start, you still have to do this piece, which is write your own. So you'd have to put in whatever your function name is and whatever you want to call it. So I'll show you what that looks like. But we've already created it. So since we already created this function, just in the interest of time to be able to get through this video and show you what you need and how it kind of all fits together, I'm going to go into functions, and you're going to see we created one here called createProjectByTemplate. That's what we already created, and we're going to use that. And that is basically what you're going to see in the description. So watch. So configure. We're only going to pull over the ID, whereas the other one was listing out all kinds of stuff to send. We're just going to grab pound sign, deals, deal ID, done. Save and associate. Okay, but let's go ahead and take a look at the function. So we're going to view it. So this is the name. So when I did that create, you have to have a name that is like a, kind of an API name. It's the technical name for it, and it's create project by template. So when I go back here, and let's say I want to remove this, and I'm going to create the new one. Go back, function. Well, it's already in here, so I guess I'll just grab that. Okay, let's go back to the function to what it's doing in here. Okay, so when I'm building this out, you can see ID here, and the ID is what's carried over. So in the previous, what I showed with putting pound deal and then deal ID, that's putting the ID in this little thing called an ID. This is the argument. And int represents an integer, so it's not in quotes, it's just a number, kind of like a raw number. Okay, so I did this. Now this is what's called hard-coded in, just for the sake of testing it, is I've done that. Now you don't want to do that. So once you kind of like everything looks good, you've tested it against this ID. I'm on a Mac, so command / and then it does this. It makes it gray, kind of like you can see this gray up here. It's what's called commenting it out. Okay, so I'm not going to comment it out. I'm going to show it because we're going to go through this. So the first step is get the deal information. So the deal, Zoho CRM GetRecordById deals, and we're pulling in the ID, which it's going to pull in this ID since we're hard coding it for the sake of testing. And then once we get the deal, then we want to get some information out of that deal. We're going to get the deal name, the description, the start date, and the end date. Now these look different than just a standard field that you would see in the deal. So if I go here and you look at deal name, it has deal space name. It doesn't have deal underscore name. So one thing, if you're going to pull in some custom fields, I would recommend checking what's called the APIs for those names. Now this name and this name are out of the box with Zoho. This was a custom field, as was this. Those are custom fields. And the resicom. Those three are custom fields. So if you're like, I want to check the names of those, you can go into the setup, go into APIs and SDKs under Developer Hub, go into API names, go into deals, and then you can see, like, here's the deal name, and you can see it has that underscore there. So you can copy it, and then here we'll do the start time, start date, and you can see the end date, and then where's that resicom right here. So that's what we're using, that we're getting. So it's the deal, this is the information that's in that deal. The deal get, so we're getting that information. Okay. So here's where we're going to say, you can see there's some instructions on each one of these that are commented out. Get the template based on what type of deal it is. So in projects, we have projects and project templates we created. One is residential and one is commercial. So I'm going to go ahead and access the project template. Now they're going to look identical. So what I did is I said, let's go ahead and look at description. And you can see for the residential install, it says this is a residential install. For the sake of when we create this, you can actually see that it did pull that particular template. And that's the same with the commercial install. Okay, so we've got these templates. So what it's going to do is say, okay, let's look at the resicom. And so in that project, again, that we'll look at, let's go to deals again, e-group building. So this resicom is commercial. And by the way, too, to see this ID up here, if I'm in the deal, it's this number right here, in case you're wondering. Okay, so the deal, resicom, so get that. And if it equals residential, then use this template ID. And if it's commercial, so else if it's commercial, use this template ID. Now, where did I get the template ID? If you go up here and you see I'm in, you can tell it's a project template because of this little icon right here. I'm in residential install. And you can see just after the word projects is an ID. This is the ID for this template. If I go to commercial install, you'll see here this is 3003 at the end. I go to commercial install, you can see it's 2003 at the end of it. So here's your 3003 and your 2003. So if it's this, then use this template ID, okay? So now what we're going to do here, this is different than that other video that we did 5 years ago. We're not using the Zoho function, we're doing it here using some deluge. So what you do is you want to create like a bucket where it's going to go into, and that's the create map right here. And then the create map, you say, okay, put. So here we got information, so we get it. And then here put means you put it into that bucket. So we're going to put the name, which is going to be your project name, the start date, the end date, and the template ID. These are the fields that are within the project. And the project name, you can see we have it up here. It's called a variable. So we put that into this deal name, we put into this project name, and that project name becomes the name. And then you can see with the start date, we added something here called toString, which is a way for computers to know, okay, so the mapping up the way the dates should look, so you don't have any errors. You want to map it to that type of look. This is the month as a 2 digits, the day 2 digits, and the years 4 digits. That's what that is. So we have the start date, end date, and here you can see the template ID. It's going to pull either this one or this one to dump it in here. Okay, so now we're going to create the project. We have another variable to represent creating the project, and we do zoho.projects.createProject, and it kind of helps you. So if I do zoho.projects.createProject, you can see it's going to tell me put in the portal name and then the data map, and if there's a connection to do it. Okay, so let's show you where do I get the portal name. Okay, in projects, the portal name is this. So just after portal, it's that. That is the portal name. I'm in projects here, and that's where you get the portal name. And we added it up here. So you can see here it's included. Okay, so that creates the project. And then once, so this part in essence was done in that other video through arguments that were passed into this. There was like a string of different ones up here. And today we're just doing the ID. Okay, so info create project, that's kind of gives you some information over here if it works or not. And then secondly, we're going to tie it to the deal. So the big change here in this one and that other video is this part here, which is selecting the template ID based on what type of deal it is, and then actually building out the creation of the project using Deluge instead of using the other way. That was built out already. So, I mean, it had elements of this, but this is for simplicity. Just pull over the ID and pull out information out of that deal instead of kind of coding it in at that other part. You can do it either way. But this part, you can still just copy and paste just the template ID if you want to take that piece out of the code. Okay, so then the bottom part is the same as that other video, which is just now attaching this project to that particular deal using that ID. Okay, so we've got this ID in here, which is this deal. And we are just going to simply run this using this little execute thing here and see how it works. So right now, again, we don't have, I don't think, any projects with eGroup. Let's go to active projects. Nope, nothing here. And then there's no projects associated with this deal. So let's go ahead and go in here and just click this and let's see, cross our fingers. Execute. This is going to pop up like if you wanted to copy and paste this in here, but since we already have it, you don't have to. You just execute and it's going to grab that ID. Let it run. So this looks like good news. You can see it created, looks like it created a project. That's what all that gibberish means. And then down here, this data array looks like good news too, because it looks like project is associated. It actually successfully did that. So if we go up here and we look at refreshing this, we should see a project on this deal now. There it is. And if I go into projects and refresh this, I should see that project in there. eGroup building, there it is. Now I'm going to access it so you can see, since this is a commercial project or commercial deal, if we look at eGroup building that was created here, you can see CRM info. And you can see over here, here's the account that's associated with it. Here's the deal that's associated with it, and you can get the information on the deal, so you can see that that's connected. Oh, let me go back in there, view. If I view this, you can see this is for a commercial install. So it grabbed the commercial template. And that's, I mean, long-winded here in a few minutes, but at least you get the idea of how you can do this. If you did the other video, then you can just simply do this part of it. Just copy this, paste it, and then you'll still have to get the deal information though. Or as the other one was, you could pull in or just grab the resi.com information. So let me show you that real quick. I'm going to save and associate. So it's associated with this, but I'm actually going to delete it, remove it. Okay, if I look at the other one, so if you wanted to use the other way, the function that's already, I don't want to do that one. Here we go. So gallery, this one, configure. See, it's already built, so you're not adding any arguments to this one. So the function, you'd have to go there, and you see up here along the top, you'd have to add, if you wanted to bring a string and the resi.com, let's say. Okay, and I say save, close, and then I go back into it. And configure. Yeah, it's not letting me do it because it's built in. So we'll just ignore that. But anyways, if you need to do the template, probably should have checked ahead of time. Let me go ahead and put that function I created in here again. Create project by template, associate. All right, that's good. But I wouldn't want to do that, right? You probably caught that. Is I need to take out that hard-coded element first. So here's create project on closed one. Is that the one? Yep. I'm going to go ahead and look at that function, and we would take this part out and then save and associate. So that way, that's not going to be an issue. All right, there you have it. You can select the template based on the deal type by adding that little piece in that function or creating a new function by using what's in the description down below. Enjoy. Also, again, if you like this video, subscribe, do the thumbs up. If you have any comments, add some comments, what you think, if you have any issues with it. And otherwise, look at that first pinned comment for the course that we have. We just released it. It's November 2025 right now. And go check it out. We have a pretty good discount on it. Have a great day.